And sometimes they are emotional and spiritual things that seem like disasters that hit us, and other times it's actual literal physical disasters that hit people, and that's one of the areas where Crossroads Relief and Development has been so instrumental in over the years in helping out, whether it's tsunamis or earthquakes or famines or what have you, and one of those areas we want to do a little look back today just at Hurricane Katrina in 2005. How can we forget that? It's one of those disasters where it just captures everyone's attention worldwide because of the devastation and impact. Over 1,800 people died in that, and it was along the Gulf Coast, of course, New Orleans and some of the other Gulf Coast cities. And we had the opportunity to go down there, and this is a school that we walked through. It was about 2 weeks after Katrina, and we just we're kind of taking in just the magnitude of the destruction, and of course, as you go along the streets.
This is a neighborhood. I mean, it's hard to imagine that, but this is a neighborhood. These slabs that you see, homes once stood there, and the contents of those homes are strewn everywhere.
And into the trees, because the storm surge rose about 28 feet in this area.
I remember walking through this particular neighborhood and seeing a kitchen chair at the top of one of these trees, thinking, okay, that's how high the water rose. The devastation was incredible.
And so we had, at that point, from time to time, we say, well, this is one area that we need to do something. We need to help out. By the way, this is Gulfport, Mississippi. You see the church there? Yeah. Gutted.
Gutted.
This is right next to the beach here.
And the water just came, and as it receded, it took most of the church with it. And this, I happened to pick up a hymnal just outside of the church. Wow. And I found it fascinating that the hymnal was plastered open to the song, Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound.
And one of the partners that we had on the ground there we were working with took that hymnal, surprised us, and actually had it put in this box here as a remembrance for us.
With a plaque, but I don't believe we don't have the plaque with us right now.
But the Amazing Grace, and that's what God showed to those people through so many others that just banded together and helped out and just poured into the region, poured the love of God, and were there to help out. And it was just a tremendous experience to be part of that.
And
go ahead.
We can remind our viewers that we're not going to just be there in the past, but in the future. We have these natural disasters, and then we have the disasters that are facing the family and youth. And Crossroads on so many multiple fronts has made such an effective difference.
And it's as we all join together, Jerry. I know so many years ago, 8 years ago now, when Katrina did strike, so many of you said, yes, I want to open my heart, my prayers, my wallet to help out those in need. And so many of you did. Thank you so much.
And many went themselves. We had 12 work teams that went down there. On the far right, you see David Maines. He was one of the members of a work team down there. And we were able to send down over 2 million pounds of food and 57 tractor trailer loads, and so much of it was donated by people, and we were able to serve some 67,000 hot meals. There you see Wortman Cookies sent down some loads of trucks and cookies, and just very practical ways of helping out. And there you see this large tent that was erected, and working with partners there. It says Crossroads Missions on the side, and that was one of the feeding centers.
We served thousands of meals every day to people who were still, 2 weeks later, homeless, had no place to go, had no place to get hot food. And thanks to you and our partners on the ground there, we were able to provide many, many, many meals to those precious people.
It was amazing to see so many churches come together. Now, I don't know if we can get a close-up on this. This is one of the tags that we use. But at the very top, can you read that under the purple? Christ in Action. That was one of our partner teams down there that was working with us, Christ in Action. And that's really what it was. It was saying, yes, because of the love of Christ in us, we want to be in action.
And our prayers are still needed. We went back a year later to New Orleans to have a look and see what was done. The cleanup obviously was pretty well underway.
There's still so much to be done, though. There you see a gym floor where there used to be a school.
Wow.
And a lot of the homes still, obviously they were just flattened, not rebuilt, but there were a lot of trailers that were supplied, and that were their homes a year later. Mm-hmm. And this is where that church was.
And this is where you found the Bible, Ron, or the case
Yes.
of someone's Bible. And we brought that home with us just as a reminder to continue praying for those precious people. And it was so encouraging walking the streets of New Orleans at that point, a year later. They had hats for sale. I don't know if you can see this. On the brim of this hat, it says, "New Orleans, we're coming back." It's not going to get us down.
Yeah.
It's not going to keep us down. And so we continue to pray for the people. I had a special connection there because my family, I have many family members that continue to live in New Orleans. At that point, my mom was still here with us, and she lived in New Orleans. And so it was really good for us to get down 2 weeks after Katrina hit, and for me to be able to see that her home was intact because she, along with my family members, were evacuated.
1.2 million people were under evacuation orders at that time, and they had to get out of there. And so, anyway, we just wanted to remind people of what you helped to do through your support. And there's so much where we need to be there. We need to represent represent Jesus in very practical ways.
And the Lord reminds us that we are His hands and we are His feet. And as we continue to rally the body of Christ, we will be there. And we will point people to Jesus Christ. And then we've got to give them a blanket or some food
That's right.
when the time comes so that they have a receptivity to the gospel.